Hey guys, we're going to talk about the law of cosines today. So I wanted to review law of sine. Law of sine is super good if we have an angle, then a side, then an angle. It's also good if we have a side, angle. But we can't use it for anything other than those two examples. So if they give us a side, we would have to use law of cosine. And then if they give us a side, angle, side, we would have to use law of cosine. So, two sides in an angle, but the angle is in between versus the angle is separate. So I would pause the video, write down these 4 examples in our notebook. Okay, so our law of cosine equation is here. So again, pause the video, write this down. But don't get hung up on A, B, C, because if I gave another triangle with B, C, Q, whatever, this was the first angle we worked with, so then my equation would be B squared. Then it would equal C squared plus Q squared minus 2CQ cosine of B. So whatever is the first angle they give us is the first thing we square, and then just going clockwise, C squared, Q squared, CQ, and then the angle that we started with. So here's our equation. Don't get hung up on the letters, just the pattern of how they're written. Okay, so I have a side, angle, side. So I'm going to use law of cosine. Okay. So I have B squared, because that's the angle they gave us, is equal to A squared plus C squared minus 2AC cosine of B, because that's the angle they gave us. Okay? So B squared, I don't know this length, so I'm going to keep it as B squared. A squared is 18 squared. C squared is 10 squared. Minus 2, 18, 10, and then cosine of 131. Okay? So then I would have B squared is equal to 324 plus 100 minus 360, because 2 times 18 times 10 was 360. And then cosine of 131, I plugged in my calculator and I got negative 0.65. Add these together, and then multiply these together. Add together, and then to get rid of a square, I square root. And then I just check to make sure if my answer makes sense. I'm dealing with 10, 18, and then the long side is 25. Does that seem reasonable? Yeah. Okay. So now that I have all these sides, I could then do law of sine, and then do 25 over sine 131 is equal to 10 sine C to figure out this angle. So then it would be 25 sine C is equal to 10 sine 130, and then sine C is equal to 10 sine 130 all over 25. And then I plugged this into my calculator and then did arc sine of that number. So I just typed it in as one giant thing. And then I got 17 degrees. So this is 17. And then to find this last angle, it was just 180 minus 131 minus 17. And I got 32. Okay. So for this case, they'd say just find the measure of angle B, not to find everything else. Okay. And I have side, 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 so I know I'm using law of cosine. So I know that we're using B as this portion. And then B is 23, A is 16, C is 30, 16, 30, and I don't know what cosine is. Okay. 23 squared is 529, 256, 900, and then 2 times 16 times 30 is 960, cosine B. And then I'm going to subtract 256 and 900 to the other side, and I get negative 627. Divide by 960. The negatives cancel, make a positive, and I have a positive 0.65 is equal to cosine B. Now I'm going to arc sine both sides. Arc cosine both sides. And I find it to be 49.2 degrees. Okay, last one. So I have side, angle, side, so I'm going to use law of cosine. And let's say they just want me to find the side AC. So this side over here. Or the side opposite of B. So I have B squared is equal to A squared plus C squared minus 2AC cosine of B. So I don't know what B squared is. A squared is 11 plus C squared is 17 minus 2, 11, 17. I know that cosine of B is 34. Then I get 121 plus 289, 2 times 11 times 17, I got 374, and then cosine of 34, I got to be 0.8. Add these together. 410, multiply these together, I get negative 310. And then I have B squared of 100. Square root, B is 10. So now that I know that B is 10, if they wanted me to continue, I could do law of sine and do 10 over sine 34 is equal to 11 over sine A, and go from there.